Hello again, I'm here at VB 2009 in Geneva. My guest here is Ivan Macalintal
Yes, sir.
from Trend Micro. What exactly do you do at Trend Micro?
Oh, I'm a managing manager of that research team.
And that's based in the US?
That's actually it's based globally. We have teammates and colleagues scattered all over the globe per region.
Right. You just presented this morning on Koobface, trying to find the face behind Koobface and explaining the
Right.
intricacies of the attack.
Right.
It has evolved from the first time we saw it on Facebook and MySpace
Correct. Yes.
several months ago.
Yes.
And it's gotten progressively worse, finding new attack vectors, finding new platforms for
Adding new
distribution.
components.
Right.
Yes.
Uh, in very brief terms, explain exactly what Koobface is for the people who may not have heard of it, what Koobface is, and where it's gone from the first iteration to where we are now.
Okay. Actually, basically, in brief terms, Koobface is what we can call as a social networking worm, meaning it's a worm or it's a malicious code that spreads mainly via social networking sites like, of course, Facebook, MySpace. Right now, they're also spreading via i5 and Twitter. And basically, we've seen the changes that it integrated into its system. We've seen changes in the back-end infrastructure of the whole botnet itself. We've seen how frequent the changes were and are until right now. And pretty much this is actually what we've seen previously and up to now. It's still ongoing. There are, as you mentioned a while ago, new components are being added, new functionalities. Typically, this is mainly because the botnet needs to survive. So they're adapting to the security measures and efforts that we in the industry are doing to fight against this botnet
Right.
now, and so they're adapting to as necessary.
In the very beginning, the end game was fake security software. It was mostly social engineering, get you out to a fake YouTube page or get you out
Yes,
to a
yes.
fake video page,
Hmm.
and maybe a fake flash player download. So
Right.
it required one or two clicks
Right.
to get the infection in the end,
Right.
and the end result was fake security software,
Yeah. Rogue
scareware,
AV.
rogue AV. Has that changed, or is that still the main
Oh, that
business model behind Koobface?
oh, business model still remains the same. Still, there are fake AVs being deployed. There are also DNS changers,
Right.
information stealers, data stealers. Um, but basically, yeah, still the same business model.
And it's
It,
still
it,
Windows specific. It doesn't.
still
There are
Windows
no
specific.
DNS changes or any sort of
Yes, we
fake
haven't
AV
seen
from Mac.
any for the Mac version. I cannot speak if it's going to be true, that statement to be going to be true in the next couple of months, but uh, who can tell?
Right.
Mac is getting popularity right now. So,
So what has been the new components that make this even more dangerous from the first iteration to now? What are some of the scarier things you've seen in the course of this research?
one of the main changes we observed before was uh, they changed their back-end infrastructure in their CNC, their command and control. Basically, before the infected nodes had a direct connection with and the vice versa with the command and control the center. And but when we had that research moving forward, we were supposed to have some takedown efforts regarding that. But however, um, the infrastructure changed. So they used proxies to uh, camouflage their paths, so it was definitely much harder to track down the Koobface botnet. Recent changes would include, they're also including, uh, they also now have a blogger component, which actually basically goes to Google blogger and then create a blog site wherein they also include a malicious script injected in the page,
Right.
going to a Koobface site where eventually a user will get infected by the Koobface malware.
So that's their own maliciously created websites. Is
Yes.
there a component where they're actually infecting legitimate websites as well? Is there a component?
We haven't gotten into that yet, but right now, as I presented a while ago, most of the Koobface sites right now are composed mostly of compromised sites. Before, we also have numbers for uh, websites that are hosted in free web hosting providers. But right now, we have numbers indicating that the majority is compromised or are compromised websites right now.
Is this the work of a single cybercrime gang, or is this are
I
we?
would not say so.
Oh, so we're dealing with multiple
Yes,
people, multiple botnets.
yes, not exactly multiple botnets, but multiple groups. It's like a cybercrime business. I mean, there's one major player, and there are affiliates, big AV groups, uh, seeking out or paying for the services or
Renting the
renting the
botnet.
service. Right, of this botnet.
And it's not going away. You expect it to get
It's not going away
worse.
so soon.
What have been the response to attempts by law enforcement and AV companies to take down? I know you mentioned earlier that they're becoming more resilient to it. Um,
Yes.
have there been any success on on the part of the good guys?
Part of the good guys, there were some successes I know and I've seen, like taking down or cleaning up some compromised or Koobface infested websites. But um, that's only the small fish now. We have to track down and make sure to catch the bigger fish, which is really
Who's
the
collecting the
yeah,
money for the fake security software?
who's
Right.
really behind the Koobface botnet now.
Um, like we mentioned earlier, a lot of this depends entirely on social engineering.
Yes.
It does depend on users clicking, which works. I mean,
Right, right.
it has been determined that if you trick someone, if you get someone to think they're actually going to a video of Britney Spears, or they're going to a video, or in the case of
Or they would
Koobface,
want to,
of themselves.
yeah,
So, you know,
they would
someone,
want to be updated of whatever news is out there by clicking on a Twitter tweet
right,
or
right.
link or something like this. Yeah.
Has that social engineering component to this Koobface attack changed, or is it still requiring in this current iterations? Is it still requiring a couple of clicks?
It still requires a couple of clicks.
Are they still using fake flash updates as kind of like the last leg before the
Some of them,
malware
yes.
gets
Some of
installed?
them, yes. But there are lots of come-ons,
Right.
as I would say so.
So are you going to continue to do this research? What's next for your research around Koobface?
Uh, yes, we're still on top of it. We're going to continue our research on Koobface. There's still a lot going on. We expect more things to come up, to pop up in our radar, and it will not end soon. Um,
Where do you expect them to go next? Because it started on Facebook, MySpace, and then the High Five, the blogger, on Twitter as well. It kind of migrated towards Twitter, so it's taking uh, a big bite of these popular social networks. Do you expect them to go in different directions?
well, I can definitely say that if next week or by next month there will be a new social engineering site that has the potential to become popular, like Facebook itself, or like or some microblogging service like Twitter. Um,
It's likely that
it's
yeah.
very likely that they will also exploit that social networking site.